Every little thing in your life matters. Every little thing that you do or do not do. The things you think are insignificant. The things that you think are just random. Everything matters. And the reason why everything matters is because everything adds up. So in this video, I want to talk to you about how the little things that you do contribute either to your success or to your failure in your life. Because everything in your life has been added up by the little actions that you took along the way. And sometimes we make the mistake of only looking out for the big actions and ignoring the little actions. And that is to our demise, because sometimes we find ourselves so frustrated by the fact that the big actions that we take don't seem to result in any kind of success and any kind of progress in our lives. And so if you are one of those people right now frustrated by the fact that you've been doing this thing, you have been trying at this thing, it could be because you are only looking at the big actions in your life, the major actions in your life. And because you are accounting for the major actions in your life, you ignore the little things that you do or don't do that could be making all the difference in your life. I can tell you right now that I know this from personal experience. Sitting in a place of frustration where I'm saying, but I know I'm doing this. I keep on doing that. I keep on working hard at that. But at the same time, ignoring the little things that I am not doing, or ignoring the little things that I am doing that I shouldn't be doing. Everything matters. And so in this video, I don't want to talk to you about the major actions. You know the major actions. Chances are many of us here engage in those major actions. But I want to talk to you about the little things that you keep on ignoring, the little things that you keep on overlooking, the little things that make a difference between excellence and mediocrity, the little things that set apart the people who are exceptional from the people who are mediocre. The average Joes. There are certain things that we do. There are little things that we do that we are not mindful of. So in this video, that's exactly what we're talking about. So go ahead, like this video if you already feel like this is for you. I want to take this from the Bible. Let me read something for you, which I find to be really, really good. Proverbs 22 verse 29 says, "Do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings. They will not serve before officials of low rank." They will serve before kings. They will not serve before officials of low rank. You will not find them among men of a low status, as long as somebody is skilled in their work. It's not good enough for you to just be able to do it. It's not good enough for you to just be better than some people at it. There is a need for excellence. There is a need for an above average skill level. Doesn't matter what you do. Whether you are in finance, whether you are in education, whether you are in spiritual education, whether you are in the entertainment industry, you write songs, you write books, you perform, it doesn't matter what you do. You should be pursuing excellence. You should be pursuing to be better than just okay, to be better than the average man. And oftentimes what happens is that we surround ourselves with so much mediocrity that it becomes okay for us to just be kind of good. So I want to take you to the life of a man that I find to be such an extraordinary example called King Solomon in the Bible. His life is very interesting because we know him historically to be one of the wealthiest kings that ever lived, one of the most accomplished, and also he had a lot of interesting lessons throughout his life about failure. You know, he had the highest of highs, he had the lowest of lows. But what I want to talk to you about is something that we find in the Bible that contributed to his success, something that we find in the Bible that was an indicator of great success. And it's the fact that the little things about his life mattered. And this is the thing that I learned. I learned this from observing so many people. I've had the privilege of being surrounded by people who have achieved a lot of great things, a lot of people who have been successful in many different endeavors. And the one thing they all have in common, whether they are entertainers, whether they are businessmen, whether they are teachers, whether they are singers, actors, it doesn't matter. They all have this one thing in common, and it is excellence. Everybody who has succeeded at the highest level has excellence in common. All of them are excellent. I know one of my brothers has this thing about him that I've always found very fascinating, and it's the fact that everything around him always works. Everything works. It has to work. It doesn't matter. If there's a handle that's broken, it has to be fixed today. If there is an issue in the car, we're not going to drive with it for a while. We're not going to keep on driving with it because it's not such a big deal. If there's a light on the dashboard, we don't want to see it. It has to be gone. And it doesn't seem like such a significant thing because you would think that sometimes, a light would be there and it wouldn't be such a big deal. But when you look at them, you realize that everything in their lives is in the same way. Everything in their lives works the exact same way. From the little things to the big things. The space that they keep. The condition of their car. The relationship they have with their child. The relationships they have with other people. The way they keep themselves and the cleanliness and all of these things, it all adds up. Because the little things matter. The little things matter. You might be at a point right now where you are frustrated because you keep on putting in so much work, but you don't realize that if you could upskill yourself as a speaker, maybe that's the only thing missing. Keep doing all of this work and you have a great product and you really are doing your best, and you don't realize that if you could just upskill yourself as a speaker, you would be able to sell better. You don't realize that maybe if you could just learn sales, just master that skill, it would change everything. Or maybe for somebody, it's just a matter of communication. You have terrible communication with people. It could change everything. For somebody, it might be the fact that you have a temper, and that temper has ruined everything. The little things that matter that we don't always pay attention to. Exciting news. Listen, I've got a new book out that is called Stay in Your Comfort Zone, The Mastery of Public Speaking. I know it sounds weird when I tell you to stay in your comfort zone because you would expect me to tell you to burst out of your comfort zone. But in this case, I am telling you to stay in your comfort zone. That, my friend, is the secret of every single great speaker. It's the fact that they speak from the comfort zone. It's the fact that they can be uniquely themselves. They're not trying to be someone else. They're not trying to be like someone else. And so I want you to get your hands on this book. If you want to improve as a speaker, if you want to upskill, if you want to equip yourself with some information about how it is that you can become an exceptional speaker, Stay in Your Comfort Zone is out right now, and I promise you that this is the book that you have been looking for. So I want to look at this from the life of King Solomon. There was a time that we see in 1 Kings chapter 10 where he gets a visit from the Queen of Sheba. And when the Queen of Sheba comes to visit King Solomon, she visits because she has heard some things about Solomon. Now, there's a difference between what you've heard and what you know. Right? These are two different levels. You might have heard some things about me, but there is a big difference between what you've heard about me and what you know about me. For you to be able to be sure of what you know about me, you have to get close to me. That proximity is what's going to give you the knowing. So with her, she hears about Solomon and she says, I've got to go see it for myself. I've got to go find out if there is any validity to everything that I've heard about the fame of Solomon, about the wisdom of Solomon. Because it had been said, Solomon is the wisest man. He's the wisest king that ever lived. And now we see it in 1 Kings chapter 10. 1 Kings chapter 10, from verse 1, it says, Now when the Queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord, she came to test him with riddles. And then it goes on to say she brought all kinds of gifts, but verse 4 says, When the Queen of Sheba had seen all the wisdom of King Solomon and the house In other words, the palace which he had built, the food on his table, the seating of his servants, the attendance of his waiters and their attire, his cupbearers, his stairway by which he went to the house of the Lord. She was breathless and awed by by the wonder of it all. She was breathless. And I want you to see the things that are mentioned, because the things that are mentioned are things such as the food on his table, his servants, their attire, his cupbearer. Everything about him was amazing. Everything about him was breathtaking. I'll tell you this right now. For some of us, there are certain things about us that have repelled people. There are certain things about you that have pushed people away simply because you insisted on being dirty, right? You insisted on being untidy. And you just thought, this is just how I am. This is just how I move. This is just my thing. No, clean up. Clean up. Get you trying to be yourself. Be your clean self. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so what happens is she's looking at everything and everything about his appearance, the appearance of his servants, his attendants, and the waiters and the food on the table. She says, wow, wow. You know what's very fascinating? What's very fascinating is that when I have sat down with accomplished people or when I have visited their homes, there has always been more than just them that impressed. You always find that you are impressed with a lot of things. You might even be impressed with their dog, how their dog is eating. You might be impressed with the kind of food they eat, the table that they eat on. You might be impressed with their children, the way their children carry themselves. And all of these things tell you everything that you need to know about the man himself. So I'm asking you, in your own life, are there any of those things that might be taking away from your potential success, that might be taking away from the heights that you could reach because you are not mindful of these little things? I mean, for some people, I have learned, for some people, it's just a matter of them being vulgar, way too vulgar. And there are people who are looking at you and you just want to be yourself, but there are so many opportunities that pass you by because people are just not comfortable around you, right? You've got too many inappropriate jokes. I'm not saying that you don't joke around when you're with your friends and whatever. I'm just saying it might be possible that at some level there are people who are looking at you and they are repelled. And of course, you are proud to just be yourself. But is it really worth it though? Is it really worth the success that could be yours? Is it really worth the accomplishment that could be yours? And so I'm saying to you right now, it matters. It matters. It says the Queen of Sheba saw everything and she was in awe. She was amazed. She was breathless when she saw everything about this man's life. I remember a couple of years ago, I had somebody who taught me something that was so profound, and I remember it was when he bought me my first suit. I had this mentor and he bought me my first suit. I still remember I used to like just showing up however I want to show up. I dressed however I feel, you know. If I want to put on a t-shirt and go out there, I go out there. There were times when I would go up on a stage and I was wearing some baggy jeans, running shoes, and a running t-shirt. Those neon colored t-shirts, be it green, orange, didn't matter. I was into running. As long as I was covered, I would be out there. And to me, it didn't matter. To me, it didn't matter how I look. It didn't matter how I presented myself. I didn't care about whether I was well groomed or not. That didn't mean anything to me because I thought to myself, it's really just about the content. It's really just about my message. It's just about my skill, my ability, the value that I bring to people. And I didn't realize that I was just focusing on the big thing without paying attention to the little things. And so I remember this man said to me, I don't like the way you dress. I don't like the way you dress. You need to get some suits. And so he took me out one time, and to show you where my mindset was, I still remember he pulled out a suit and he said, try this one on. And when I looked at the price tag, I said to myself, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can think of a million other things that I could do with the money. Mind you, at the time, he's paying. But my mindset was so flawed that I was willing to reject that even though I was not the one paying for it. And so long story short, he goes on to get me the suit because when I put it on, I began to see myself differently. I felt differently. I remember I was putting it on in the store, and as people are walking by, when somebody locked eyes with me while I'm trying the suit on, I saw the way they looked at me. I said, whoa, whoa, there's something about this, right? And so I began to start wearing these suits. And when I go out, I would start wearing these suits, and you see that people treat you differently. And you realize that, yes, my message was important. Yes, I was bringing value. And yes, I had valuable content and all of that. But my appearance sometimes would be a repellent. There were some people who couldn't hear what I was saying because how I appeared, my appearance, the way that I presented myself, how I was dressed was standing in the way. And I remember at the time I was still struggling to make ends meet, and everything was really just bad. And I remember he said to me, listen, there will be people who want to help you out. There will be people who want to serve you in any kind, in a lot of different ways, who want to help you out in terms of what you're doing. But it should never be because they feel sorry for you. It should never be because of how you look and the fact that you look so sad and poor and broken. It should never be because of that. If you want to go out there and serve people, there is a certain class of people, there is a certain level of people that you cannot serve while looking like that. That's not what he said to me, but that's what I got from it, right? I started to realize that there is a certain crowd that I could not stand in front of as long as I don't look a certain way, as long as I present myself a certain way. There is a certain crowd that I couldn't get in front of if I was wearing torn jeans that expose my ashy knees, as long as I refuse to be well groomed, because I feel like I just want to be no. There were opportunities that were passing me by because of the little things that I wasn't paying attention to. I'll tell you this, even in my speaking, when it comes to my speaking, I learned a long time ago that there were little things that were taking away from my ability to communicate effectively. As you can tell right now throughout the video, I like to use my hands while I'm speaking. But there was a time when the use of my hands was excessive. It was just way too much. It was so distractive. Right? And I would do so because I would get nervous. And when I get nervous, I would begin to fidget with my hands so that I don't fidget. I would then use my hands to illustrate everything, but it would get quite distractive. And so I had to be mindful of that. And as soon as I make that small little change, everything about how I communicate changes. And then one day I learned that I wasn't projecting my voice well. Learned that the content was good, what I was saying was good, but I wasn't projecting my voice well. And so I make an adjustment in that area, fix that little thing. And so you learn as you go along that there are these little things that make a big difference. And then I learned that one of my biggest weaknesses is in the fact that I don't really like to be out talking to people. I just like to be by myself. I just want to be by myself. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to engage with people. I don't want to go out and socialize. I don't want to network. But then I realized that that is holding me back. And so I have to fix that little thing about myself. I can't just say that's just who I am. I have to fix that little thing about myself. I have to change that. I have to teach myself. And so Proverbs says, do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings. They will not serve before officials of low rank. And so what I want for you, my friend, is that you will not only serve before officials of low rank. You might find yourself right now serving before officials of low rank, serving among those who are average, serving among those who are not really skilled at what they do. And the only reason you get by is because everyone else is average, everyone else is mediocre. What I want for you is that you will be able to rise to the point where you will be able to serve in front of those who are of high rank. It's an amazing thing. It's an exciting thing. It's a rewarding thing for your commitment. Your commitment should be worth something. Your commitment should take you to a point where you don't just stand in front of those that you've always been in front of. It should take you to new territory. It should open new doors for you. It should put you in positions where you have never been, where you thought you would never be. So I challenge you right now, what is it in your life that you think you need to be mindful of? What is it in your life that needs to change? What is it that you need to be mindful of? What is the little thing that you are either doing or not doing that is contributing to your failure, to your delay? What is it that needs to be fixed?
When you change your thoughts, you change your life. This is Thoughts That Count with Poloko.